Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this PN or PDF. It says it's a JPG, PNG, and they're going to put it on a tumbler, and it's really fuzzy. So one rule of thought: don't ever just drag and bring the picture in. Import it. So wherever that file is, I went to import, and it was under my downloads, and I brought it in, and I imported it. And you can see it's got a bunch of other stuff in it. And then just with that selected, get your crop tool. And I'm imagining all they want is this. But get your crop tool and crop out that part and hit crop. Now it is 11 inches big, so make it smaller. I think it came without I would prefer to have the font and redraw it, but I don't recognize this font for anything. And like it's got a really skinny end, and the C has got lines. So let me move this one out of the way. Well, I didn't get it all. And so you can see the white background. So we've got it small, it's less than 4 inches. So I'm going to make my nudge factor 4. I'm going to grab that item. I'm going to go to trace bitmap, outline trace clip art is what I use 99% of the time. I'm going to go ahead and go, and I don't think it's going to make much difference, remove color from the entire background. That did get rid of the white between the letters. And then I'm going to nudge it out of the way. So this set of letters came out really pretty good. It's got some gray shadow that we can fix. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to Object, Group, and Ungroup. And we'll start on and I would make sure you get all of these. Click on that gray and just delete it. But I would go around the entire thing. See, here's some right here. And just delete it. Now the inside letters, I would take my pick tool and delete them, because that's what you're going to want if you want that same font. Now the only, boy, it's amazing. I got it right on the, well, I put that line, that indexing line, so all the letters. It's hard to tell with the logo if that's a sharp point or a rounded point, and this is a rounded point. Now, and as you can see, this has a box around the black. So the black would be very easily to redraw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all this, and I'm going to left click, right click. That way you're going to see those lines better, and it's going to be easier to clean up. I was trying to zoom. So now we can take our pick tool, and the yellow box causes you a little bit of problems, and we can get rid of these extra lines. See, like that would really cause a problem on a tumbler or anything you're going to be engraving. You really ought to zoom in. And it's kind of hard to tell unless you've got a cleaner version what it really looks like. For instance, I'm thinking that this is a square or a sharp corner. And the reason I turned it from this, because now the lines are going to be like this, and I can right click and turn it into a line. So I'll right click, turn it into a line. Now it changed that a little bit, but you could right click and turn this in. Well, you could, let's grab both these. Should be able to turn that into a curve. There you go, it looks pretty good. And you can do the same thing there. I'm not going to do the entire, I would check things like right there. I would go ahead and go, well, it's already aligned, so that's good. And then, if you worked on the C a little bit, let's go ahead and do the C a little bit. Let's turn these into a line if it's, if it's a sharp corner. Now see how it messed that up? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go break apart. And then I'm going to turn these into a line well, it still messed that up. So I'm going to back up and let's just turn these into a line, and then we're just going to have to deal with it and take this one. See, I don't know why I can't turn that into a curve now. There we go. See, I still got a angled line there. Now, let's say you did all the work on this C, and I would take away as many nodes as I could. Like there's a kind of like a bad spot. Well, it's gone now. But let's just kind of play with it a little bit. So once you get the C where you think it is, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lock my yellow box so I can't grab it. And then by that way, I can do this. So I'm going to make, why is that not letting me? Okay, I got to go to object and break the curve apart. I'm going to get this letter. I'm going to hit the plus key and then make that one red. And then I'm going to just hold down the control button and put it on top of that C. And then I can move that one down, get rid of this one, and then move that one back. Colors don't matter right now, but just go through and, clean some things up. If you have the original logo in your hand, this would be a lot easier to mimic. Like this right here. I'm going to just select both these, and I'm going to right click and turn them into a line. Then I'm going to move it up to that line. Whoop, I had them both selected. Back up here. That happens a lot. I'm going to move that up to the line, maybe move this one down to the line. And, if you can imagine, that might be can't really do that. What you can do is take this one and just move it down and then delete that one. And you can do, so there's two E's, so you can do the same thing that we did with that once you got, if these are supposed to be square, right click, turn them into a line, and then take that one and move it up. And see how these are off, so select them both. Go right up here to align nodes vertically, and it does that right there. I'd go ahead and do these, align nodes vertically. Well, let's turn them into a line first. They are vertically. And then, just play around with it. And then once I just can't tell on the original logo if these are, every little place like that is going to cause you a problem. Or not a problem, it's just not going to look right. So kind of clean it up a little bit, then go all around and, look like you don't need that node. And then once you have that done, hit the plus key, make it red, and grab it and hold down the control button. Now I'm going to change my nudge factor to like 2 inches. And that way I can nudge that out of the way. See, that way you have the red one. And you can grab that one. Lines don't matter. Line color. I'm not going to take too much more time. But like right here, I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I know it's not supposed to look like that. So we could just kind of take that and kind of clean it up. You don't want it that much. Probably going to have a little bit of a curve. The end right here has a bad spot. So I'm using the shape tool. See, maybe we can delete that node right there. That cleaned it up quite a bit. And you can always do that. And if like there's two nodes, you can just delete them if they don't really need it. I don't know You know, I would suspect that's supposed to go like that. So let's say you've got it all done, and the reason I said the lines don't matter is because they're engraving this and not going to cut it. And then just take your Smart Fill tool, and if you're engraving it, make sure you're on CMYK or excuse me, RGB, and then just fill this in. Fill in the spots. It might be smart to go ahead and select it all and go up here and right click no outline. But I think these letters look good. I'll send you this file. See, we got a little bit of a part on there. I'm gonna hit delete and just, you know what? It would be better, probably smarter to left click, right click, and then you can see those extra lines. This looks pretty good. I wouldn't mind engraving that or have any problem. And then smartest thing to do is just go ahead and go with your Smart Fill tool, fill them in. Make sure you're using RGB, and then select it all and right click no outline. It'll give it a little sharper, and then just group that together. And don't forget to turn it at a 90-degree angle for your rotary device. But for the person I'm doing this for, I'll go ahead and send you this file, and you could take it apart and critique it a little bit more. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.